Hi guys, welcome. We're going to do two cards today, but they're two somewhat involved cards and they're very different. So I'm going to do the cards that I was going to do for you at the party and we ran out of time. So we are having this one and we're doing this one today. We're going to do this a little bit differently. Instead of putting up a kit, I'm just going to give you links to the dies. So and I will give you a list of supplies for each one of them. In fact, let's start with the candle card, and I will show you the supplies we're going to use. Can everybody hear me okay today? Teddy is being a little maniac. Go ahead and go in my hands if you would please. Hello, Thelma and Mary Glasson and Annette and Betty Gossel and Thelma. I think I said Thelma. So, okay, good deal. Excellent. Not very loud to me. Try turning up your volume on your computer or your phone, Betty. And I can pull the mic a little closer. Let's see if that's better. Oops. Probably a rattling sound as I move it. How's that? Okay. All right. Let's take a look at what we're going to use. I have here this die is called the Brilliant Candle Frame. Because there's a delay. Okay. I have the Brilliant Candle Frame. I have a 5x5 card. I have a 6x6 piece of mirri. Could use a 5x5 if you had it. I have two pieces of cardstock. I guess I do need two. Well, good job, Brittany. Two pieces of cardstock. And I have two pieces of black card. Let's go ahead. Say goodbye to everybody. Teddy, bye-bye. All right, out you go. Out you go. You're getting thrown out. Let's go. Okay. No, Teddy does not want me. Teddy got a new toy last night from my friend Laura, which he promptly took the squeaker out of. That's not something he's done before. He's just recently started doing that. But he took the squeaker out of it, and then he started taking all the stuffing out of it. And I pushed all the stuffing back in and gave it back to him because it only had a little hole in it. And then he proceeded to widen the hole and take the stuffing all out of it again. So it's here on my table waiting to get stitched up before he gets it back. He knows where it is and he wants to get in my lap so he can sneak over and steal the toy back. That's exactly what he is doing. Okay, I'm using four pads here. You can see the colors. If you're using a different brand, these are roughly the colors you want. And I have what is ours called? I can't even see it. It's canary yellow, orange zest, red chili, and brick red stamp pads. Okay, I'm going to start by covering my card with a piece of black cardstock. Hi, Sharma. Welcome, friend. Okay. Yes, little Ted was being a menace. Dennis the Menace. Okay. Another thing I did here just for interest was to run my red chili stamp pad right around the edges of my card. I've never done that before, but against the black, the red shows a little bit. So, may or may not show, but that's what I did anyway. You can kind of see it here. The fact that I can't see what we're trying a different view that allows us to go back further and chat, but there's now a delay on my screen that I'm not used to because I'm used to seeing myself live. It's weird. It's weird. Okay, let's see. These are scissors I was using last night. They have adhesive all over them. They need to be cleaned. Let's switch to these. Okay. Our next couple classes, what I decided is that we're going to do the stuff that we were going to do at the party and didn't finish because I already had those projects done, which is allowing me some time to go and get our current Craftaganza kit done. So that's what I'm doing. Okay, I've got my card covered. Next, I'm going to get one of my pieces of cardstock. I'm going to cut this one to 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. This is just a piece of my off of my essential card block. And I wanted everything to be the same tone of red. So I can just use this since I'm going to die cut the back anyway. I wanted everything to be the same tone of red. So I just made my own red cardstock. Doesn't all have to be red, just the edge that's going to show, right? So that's how I did that one. Okay. All right. And that gives us that bright chili red. Next, we're going to die cut this die out of white and of out of gold also. Who's here? Hey, Tony. Welcome. Hey, Tony Woodruff. It's good to see you, friend. I've known Tony for, boy, we were teenagers, weren't we, Tony? So I have known Tony for a lot of years. Let's see. We were 15 or 16, maybe not even 16. It was probably 14 when we started going to the church together. So, wow. That'd be like 48 years. Can you believe that, Tony? Holy cow. We're not old enough to say that about anybody, are we? We were young. Oh, boy. It's really nice to see you. Well, today we are making, I don't know if you saw the card we're making, but we're making this one. How did it get live again? Did it just catch up or did you switch back? Thank you. And then probably would allow us to go back up. Okay, I'm just taping my dies in place because if we are going to run more than one die through at a time, we need to protect our machines by... This plate is finally starting to work on this. This has had probably, I don't even know, thousands of cuts on this machine now. And this top plate is finally starting to work. But I can get a lot of service left out of it. I just sometimes have to monkey with it a little bit to get the sandwich started because it's higher there. Let's try this. Okay. Come on. Darn it. That's not what you want to see. Let's try that. There we go. No, not useful. Not useful. Come on, guys. This really is the best die cutter I've ever used. It just doesn't like warped plates very much. And it's going to give me a hard time today. There it goes. And of course, it's going to do it on the day when I have two big die cuts to make. Okay. All right, we'll get this one off.
Upside down like Margie does on her floor.
You can. Don't have to. They actually recommend it upside down, but I almost always do it face down so I can see what I'm doing. Okay. We'll take our tape off here while we'll do our mirror board. Hi, Angela. Welcome. Today we are making an absolutely amazingly pretty candle card. And I'm starting out by cutting a couple of different runs of my die because I'm going to mix pieces that I have ink with pieces that I have die cut or mirror board. Okay, go ahead and put this one down. That's running through. And use my tape flex so I get it in a good position. And I like that, so down it goes. All right, next, get that die out. This is such an incredibly beautiful die. I really, really love it. Well, that was not one of my more clever things I've done. I thought I was running the whole die through, I only ran through the outside. So now I'll run through the center too. Okay. All right. Okay, I'll get those pieces off. And I'll run this one through because it was still on the back of my candle. Okay. All right. One more die cut. Hi, Brenda. Come on. All right. Next. I'm going to put this down. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. There we go. Should be done die cutting now.
That's hard.
True. Okay. We're going to weed this one out. And there's really only about 3 pieces on either side that have to pop out of that. We're going to weed this one out. We're going to glue this onto this piece of black card. So I'm going to need my trusty info glue, my trusty blotter, aka paper towel, and I'm going to get this sticky. Now I have noticed when I'm doing a larger piece like this that one side starts to get dry before I finish the other. And one of the claims to fame with this nouveau is that when it's wet, you get a permanent bond. When it's dry, you get a temporary bond. Well, I don't want a temporary bond. I want a permanent one. So after I tap it good and do both sides, and I'm coming back and tapping the first corners again because I want it to be sticky everywhere. I see silver hair in it, but I'm going to get it down first and worry about that second. There we go. All right. Let's see. Tried to pop back up on me, but all righty. Get that bonded down good. We're going to cut around this black. Did a reasonably good job of getting it in the corner, but I still see some little corner edges I'm going to trim off. Okay. There we go. We got that piece. Isn't that just striking? Putting that corner on the black, it's just like it really jumps out. Okay, next we will be putting this in here, but I'm going to switch gears for a minute. I actually need a piece. Maybe I have something I can use here. I use a party outline. Put it on the back of here. I want to color a few of my pieces. I'm taking the candle out of this white one. And I am going to color it red, just using my ink pad. That way it's going to exactly match the border I put on my card. I have a candle. And we're going to pop out this piece. Actually, maybe it might be easier to do it all intact and then take out the pieces I want. Okay, I've got my blender sponge here. And when I'm doing my blending, those of you who've been in stamp class with us know that I want to do my lightest color first. I want to blot off anything I've got on there because I want to be able to get some yellow. And I had quite a bit of orange in here. So I want to blot that off good. Might still get a tiny bit of orange, but it's okay. And I'm going to start blending my yellow up all the way around the candle flame. I want some bright in there, so I'm usually I daub these off. I'm not daubing off because I want to get some bright yellow to this. There comes the bright yellow in. Okay, once I have my brightest color in, should have probably gotten a clean sponge for this because I'm getting more orange than I'd really desire, but it'll be fine. Next, I'm going to bring in my orange because it's my next darker color. I'm going to tap it off a little bit, and then I'm going to start around the outside of here, giving that a little bit of orange glow. Keep my yellow in the center, get a little orange around it. Every one of these is going to turn out differently, guys, because you are blending colors. Okay, I want these areas towards the bottom to be a little bit more red, as if there's more shadows there. So I'm going to start putting some red at the further outlines and around the bottom. The further we go away from the light source, the darker it will be, right? And our candle's burning pretty evenly in the middle, so around the base of the candle's probably going to be my darkest area. So now I'm going to bring in my brick red. And put in just a little, much darker color at the bottom. Now I'm going to pop this piece out of the frame that was in this piece here, out of the white. This piece I've been working on is the piece that's actually my extra piece from the gold. And I'm going to take a look and see if I like my inking. I'm going to put it in here. I'm just kind of paper piecing this right back into that gold frame to say, does everything look the way I want it to look? Now, I am, let's see. that little leaf. Oh, here. I'm going to actually glue this little leaf back in. I could do it in white or I can do it in gold, but I want to, this die has this little leaf. I'll show you easier here. This die has this little leaf right here, huh?
Zoom in a little bit.
Yeah, this die has this little leaf, and you either want that to be colored in one of your darker colors, or you want to put it in the gold. And candidly, I know where the gold is. Not sure. I do actually know where the white is. We can try both colors and see what we think. I can use this brick red pad and see what I think of that. I found both of them. So I can put this in like that. Oops. Well, darn it. Okay, tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna glue my frame in because it'll be much easier to hang on to my pieces once my frame is in. This in of itself was really a pretty piece. See that? That's actually really pretty. I might have to try that with this and see what happens. I don't know. I didn't pay attention to that before. Oh no, it's kind of interesting though. All right. Not quite the look I'm looking for though. I'm going to go ahead and start gluing these pieces in so we can handle this more easily. Let's get my blotter again.
Betty says she's posted some fall cards on the Facebook page.
Oh, good. Good job, Betty. I've decided that on Thursday, what we're going to do is make the flowers that I had scheduled for the party when we ran out of time. And then on Saturday, we're going to make an explosion box out of the paper pad that goes with that collection. And we're going to, in part, decorate it with those little flowers. So that's going to be fun. I'll show it to you here in a while. Okay.
I'm going to ask you to talk louder.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Let's get some of our glue-in pieces going here. Now the candle flame, I did not color at all because something that's hot shows white. And I wanted it to be the lightest, brightest piece. So I left it white. So I'm going to pop my flame in here. Got my candle here that we made in red. So we're going to pop our candle in here. Now, back to what I was talking about before. I've got these leaves, and it could either be in gold. Let me show you in gold, where it's really just kind of nondescript. It just becomes part of the base of the candle. That's one choice. And I think that looks good. That's actually what I did last time. Or if I want to, and I might not want to do this because it's the same color as my candle, and that might be a little confusing. But what's a little darker than my candle? I could put the leaf in that red. I think after looking at both of them, I'm going to go with the gold again. So let's pop that in there. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and put my glue down. I'm going to see if everything's dark enough. And I think it looks pretty good. Could use a bit more bright yellow up around the top. So I'm going to turn my dauber around. It's going to give me inky fingers, but that's okay. And I'm going to put a little bit more intense yellow right here around this centerpiece, because I think I'll like that better. Oh, I do like that better. Okay. Now, I'm going to darken my orange just a little bit too. All I'm going to do is darken up my colors a little bit because I think it could use a little more intensity. There we go. I'm liking that better. Now let's get a little more of the red in here too. And I'm going to go straight to the brick red. And really make this more intense also. Just wanted a little more color. I like that. Now, just for interest, I'm going to take that bright red and I'm going to kind of go all the way around that circle. There we go. Oh, I'm liking that. Okay. All right. So orange zest and red. Recap my ink pads. Wanted to have some life to them. All right. I think all these colors are still available in the store. Well, they're not on sale anymore. If you want these colors, I think and you're missing one or more colors that will allow you to make this, we do have these colors in the store. And I marked the ink pads way down, not because they're old or anything. They're actually fairly fresh, but because eventually, sometime this fall, I hope, I'm going to exchange all of the Hunky Dory ink pads for Ranger ink pads. Hunky Dory are okay. Ranger's better.
Why?
They're juicier. They're on wool instead of foam, so they don't tear up the same way when you're rubbing the ink pads on stuff. So they just last longer, and they have refills available, which Hunky Dory does not have. Okay, gluing that with my wet glue right into place. You're more patient than some, honey.
That's true. I'm married to you.
Now that was snide. I was giving you you're more patient than me.
Oh,
Did you guys hear him? I said, you're more patient than some. And he said, yeah, I married you. I'm going to use a piece of shaker tape to hold this up. Why? Because I don't want to do all the little glue dots. And I have some sitting here, so why not? But he does have to be a remarkably patient man to live with me for 27 years, I just got to say. That is a truth. All right. We got those pieces down. I'm also going to put one through the middle, unless I want the center to be well supported. This is a big top. And I wanted it to stand up a little bit from my card, give a little dimension. Oh, it says be careful, Bryce, you can't run yet. That's true, he can outrun me, but he can't out-hobble me. I'm more practiced at that. Oh, he makes me laugh every day, though. So you got to keep a man around who manages to make you laugh every day. And then he feeds me well on top of it. What can I say? You know, a man cooks and he's. And he makes me laugh. Oh. I'm going to follow my advice for red tape when you can't get the finger lift tape. If you can't pick it from the end, then tear it in the middle. Why am I having such trouble today with my tapes? There we go. And he takes care of Teddy too. That is true. Oh, Ted does love his daddy and his grandpa. Lately, he has loved his mama too. I'm not sure what his weakness is, but all of a sudden, he wants to be mommy's dog too, which I'm eaten up, I must say. He's been, I can say it, Bryce comes out at night before he goes to bed and asks Ted, you want to go to bed or stay with mama? And Ted runs into the shop. He hangs out here with me at night, which is nice because it's nice to have the company. Except that Teddy sits there and growls and makes me wonder what's going on outside. I think we have nighttime visitors coming to the bird feeders. Could be raccoons, but I actually think it's not fun to say, but I think it's a rat that's coming and getting food out of the squirrel feeders at night. There we go, friends and neighbors. And you can see that the candle design in both is different. The shadowing, they're both beautiful. They're just both different. You like that one? That is the Candlelit. This is really, I mean, you don't need, you can see one of the reasons why I didn't make a kit for this one is that you can see that pretty much you're going to have what you need to do this. I mean, you need a variety of glue pads, but you're pretty much going to have what you need to do this in your private stash. So I didn't see putting together a kit with this one. And this is the Candlelit, the Brilliant Candle Frame, number 94298. This is on Brit's Bargain this week, guys. You want to link that, honey? Hi, Tracy. Welcome, friend. Okay, so we'll put this one away. See, how long did that take me to do, honey? 41 minutes. I never would have been able to do it in a party anyway. So it's good we did it on a Saturday instead. Okay, so the Brilliant Candle Frame. Did you get a link for it? Oh, okay, there you go. It's very fun to do. To me, this is very satisfying, because no matter what you do, it's going to turn out pretty. It's just, everyone's going to be different when you go to do that blending technique.
You can use the opposite pieces to do a reverse card.
Yeah, Bryce was saying you could use the opposite pieces to do a reverse card. I'm not sure how that would turn out, but it'd be fun for somebody to check that out and finish that up and see what we get. I don't know. It might be really pretty. It's hard to say. Okay, let's switch gears. Hi, Roberta. All right. Next up, we are going to, done with these now. This next one has its own ink pads. The next one we're going to do is, I guess I'll keep that all out because I'm going to need that again. The next one we're going to do is this one. And this is called, the guys are in here. The jewel ornament is what that's called. Okay, let me show you what I'm going to use for this one. For this one, I will be using two ink pads. I'm going to use smoked paprika and roasted coffee. I'm going to use 3 little red jewels. These are just kind of unbranded, but we have those from Hunky Dory and other places. I'm going to use this Merry Christmas die from Card Deco. This one is number CDEC 003. CD for Card Deco, actually CDEC for Card Deco, and then it's D003. And it makes this really quite pretty Merry Christmas. It fits the mood of our card really well. Next, we're going to use some cardstock. And what I have out here, I believe these are from Basil Basics, but use any brand you like. I'm using 3 6x6 pieces, so pretty much the better part of a sheet of cardstock of avocado sort of, or olive color cardstock. Like I said, I think mine's Basil Basics, but yours, oh, it does say right there. It's Basil Basics. I don't know the number though, but it is Basil Basics cardstock I'm using. And here's the number 2. It is, wow, it's called Hillary. Hillary is the color, but beautiful. This right here is my second favorite color with purple. I'm also using from Basil Basics. This is actually kind of one of their bumpy cards, and this is called Honey. And the card, you don't have to have this, but I happen to have it, and it turned out good. Can you come in a little bit so you can see the texture on this? Can you see it at all? See, there you go. See the little bumpies on it? I wondered what would happen if I used this, and I really liked it. So I thought I'd tell you that's what I used. You could really use any kind of mustardy colored cardstock to make this, but I did like the effect I've got from that. I'm using a piece of Basil Basics that's cherry. That's 6x6. I have a 6x6 of black. I have a European A6 gold. I'm going to find my dies, which I thought I put in here, but I clearly did not. So let me figure out what I did with my dies. There they are. Ooh, that's good. They're right handy. We're going to use mistletoe swag. We're going to use the jewel ornament. And then you need to have some kind of a ring. And because this is what I had out, I am going to use the sailboat die. Because the ring it cuts automatically is just the size I want. So I'm going to actually use the sailboat die to cut my rings. You could actually do this last piece with a set of, if you were careful and centered it correctly, you could do it with the die that we used last. The candle die would work to cut that, but see, I didn't center mine as carefully as I might. What I liked about the sailboat die is that it cuts the ring for me automatically. I don't have to center it.
You could hide that piece, lighter piece underneath the spout.
Yeah, conceivably, except it's not green, so.
Right.
But see how this one's done? This one tacked the centerpiece in place, so I can cut that ring automatically. Now I could just use 2 rounds and make my own rings too. I'm just being lazy. Okay, oh, and in addition to the cardstocks and the dies, I'm going to use a 6x6 card, and I'm using my intensity markers. You could use any high pigment alcohol marker like your Sharpies or the intensity markers. We sold out of these at the store, so at the party, so I know a lot of you are going to have those. So here we go. I'm going to start by die cutting my jewel and my Merry Christmas because they're both coming out of gold. So one sheet of mirri is going to take care of both of these comfortably. The tape that holds it to the package came off with the die. Come on. Well, it's going to cause it to stick to my plate, but it's not so bad.
Use your magic pillow.
Yeah, I could. I was just thinking I could if I have to, but I got it. I got it off. All right. My Merry Christmas die. I'm going to pop these in my die cutter. I'll put a little piece of tape on here because when we're die cutting multiple dies, we protect our dies, right? By making sure they can't run over the top of each other. That's the only thing you're going to do that's going to hurt these dies, these hardened steel dies, is if you let them cut each other. And that's going to nick them up and make a mess. So don't do that. Oops. There's not a lot of weeding to do on this. On this die, it looks like there is more to do than there is, but this background on the die is all just cut-ins. There's no cutouts. So that's what this one looks like. That's ready to go. And I've got my really nice Merry Christmas here. One little Annie that needs to pop out. There's my Mary.
Mary asked, did you already show the butterfly blush?
No, I did not show you butterfly blush. It might just be in What's New Wednesday. Okay, there we go. We're done with those for now. That away. Okay, next up, I'm going to cut my foliage and my boat. I'm going to have lots of pieces here that I'm not going to use right now because of the way I'm doing my boat. But you can rest assured that I will use them for something down the road. Lost my purple tape there for a minute. Yep, What's New Wednesday? There's always something new, isn't there? Yes, there is. Okay, so I'm going to tape that down there, and I need these mistletoe branches. Yes, we missed out on the blue butterflies, but we got the blush butterflies. And then I later got the blues, you noticed. Just took me time. I had to get them from different manufacturers in order, or not manufacturers, but distributors. This one has to go on its own piece of cardstock. I could run them at the same time. Okay. All right, I'm going to tape this down. Get this cutting. Oh my gosh, Betty, don't look. Yep, always something new coming in, guys. Always, always.
Much to Brittany's dismay.
Yeah, much to Britt's dismay, Bryce says. Although she doesn't mind hunky-dory. I don't know if you've noticed it, but I tend to be ordering in a little closer to demand quantities so that we don't have quite so much leftover from our hunky-dory as we used to have. So she's not minding that. Okay. Oh, my foliage die was popping right out. There's one. There's two of them. Now you may decide, I noticed when I did this last time, that you may decide you want a few extra little pieces of the foliage. So I'm going to actually run an extra set of the foliage dies. I'm cutting this whole thing because I want this ring right here. That's what I want. That nice, beautiful, even ring. But then I'm going to have this beautiful anchor border. And I can certainly use the anchor, the rope, and the boat. Let me try it again. The sails, the rope, and the anchor frame. Okay, so I'm going to put in another one of those. And it doesn't matter about that frame on the outside with this one because it's not really what I'm cutting this for. And I really only want just a few extra pieces, so I can actually just use up this cardstock instead of cutting into my third piece, and I'm going to retain that. I'm going to put this back in. Come on. The die cutter's giving me a hard time today, guys. And it's not the die cutter's fault. I mean, I just did tell you guys it's the best die cutter I've ever had. It is, but when I finally decided I was going to warp my plate, I'm telling you, I warped my plate. I'm going to take that shim out. That probably would have saved me some time a long time ago. Because sometimes you just don't want the shim. I had the metal shim in it. And I don't think it wanted it. Okay, let's tape these down a little more firmly because it looked to me like they were going to try and run together. Gotta keep those well apart from each other. Okay, let's try it again. Now it's going right through. See, I should have pulled the shim out earlier. Would have helped. When you find your plates warping, one of the reasons why they do that is because because you may be running too tight a sandwich. Okay. So when in doubt, pull the shim plate out, try it again. Okay, here's some little pieces of foliage, which is really all I wanted. I just wanted to make it a little bit fuller here and there. Now, if you have other foliage dies in your collection, they could certainly substitute for this mistletoe. This mistletoe swag just gave me, a bit of pretty greenery I wanted. But you could do this with something other. In fact, I'm using a different die than both of these designs were original to Memory Box. They're not my original designs. I've played with them a little bit, but the designs themselves were original to Memory Box and their designers. And I'm using different dies than what they used. So you can absolutely substitute. And
Sharma recommends that you flip your plates.
Huh? Yeah, well, I actually have flipped my plate, Sharma. It's just getting to a point where it's warped enough. Once it starts bending, once it really gets going, they become kind of hard to use. And I've got another one on order. Like I said, this has been through thousands and thousands of die cuts already. The one little piece I want was the only piece that didn't cut completely thoroughly, but I'm going to get it off of here anyway. It's peeling a layer off the green, but I don't care. Yeah, they actually recommend sending your sandwich through upside down like Margie does. I just like to see what I'm doing, so I tend to do it the other way. Okay, I got my ring I wanted, and I got my foliage I wanted, and I can leave that mess for later. Okay, let's see. All right, let's go. We're going to take our 6x6 card. Just move some of this stuff out of my way. These are the pieces I want. This can all go up here for now. Get the stuff where I can see what I'm doing. All right. I'm going to cover my 6x6 in this red cardstock. So let's do that next. All right. Let's see. Tape here. All right. Okay. Okay. 6x6 is a good fit. Doesn't need much trimming, but just a little bit. I did talk to the people from Craft Style this week, and our new shipment of cards is on the way. So if you've been waiting to order European A6, or let's see, I think that's the only one we're actually out of. We're getting low on 5x7s and DLs, but we have all of those on order. Okay, now I'm going to take this one, and we're going to do a little, first let's do a little trimming on it. Of course, I've used my trimmer for all this stuff. Move all that. Okay. And I'm going to, I want a fairly wide margin around that. So I think I'm going to go with 5 5/8 by 5 5/8. Which will give me about a 3/8 inch margin. I may even decide to. Who's here? Pam?
Sandy.
Oh, Sandy. Hi, Sandy. Sam, good to see you. Now you can see how much color I've put on this cardstock when we look at the original. I've added quite a lot to it. Okay. I'm going to actually take just a little bit more off of this. So I guess I'm going to 5 1/2 by 5 1/2 with this one. There we go. Yeah, that's what I want. Okay. I'm going to do some work on this. I think I'll just use the other side again. I'll have inky fingers, but that's all right. I'm going to use the smoked paprika. I'm going to let the lighter part of the cardstock just be its normal color. I'm going to dab this off a bit so I have more control. And I'm going to start swirling this brown, this paprika, around the edges first. And I'm going to go around all four edges with my color. And what the look I'm looking for is I kind of want it to look like there's some radiance coming off of the ornament. So not unlike the candle, I'm going to create a sense of more light to the middle. And I actually think my paprika is just about right. I'm going to give it a little more around the top and the bottom, I think. But the further you come in, the lighter it becomes. So as I come in further, I'm using a lighter hand on it. I'm not pushing it all. Now, I want it to be a little darker around the edges. So I'm going to come in with my roasted coffee. And this is a dark color, so I want to be careful that it doesn't take over. I'm going to go very lightly around my edges. I'm going to fill in my corners a little bit. You can always add more. It's hard to take it off, so go lightly. Okay. You can see what I was saying about the texture of this cardstock. See the little brown dots? It's kind of cool as you're working. What's dear hubby enjoying? Okay. I'm liking that pretty well. Let's see how that, oh, I also wanted to do this. I'm going to face my pad just a little bit towards the front, and I'm just going to ink the edges to give me a nice darker line here. There we go, like that. That's looking good. Okay. Next, we're gonna work over our circles. The first thing I'm going to do on my circles is decide how close I want them together. So I have to play with that in my ornament a little bit. I kind of want a sliver moon there between them. And when I get them laid out where I want them, I'm going to put a touch of glue at the top and a touch of glue at the bottom to hold these together. Just try and make sure that they stay somewhat symmetrical. Let that tack for a second. I'm going to get my black cardstock.
Alma says ink must dry really fast because you're not getting a lot of smudges on your hands.
Oh, I have a little bit from my blood or my blending tool because I turned it around, was using the back side, but otherwise it's not bad at all. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut down the size of my piece a little bit. The only part I want to be covered in black is the inside piece. So I'm just first going to make my black a little bit more manageable by cutting a piece of the black that this can sit on. I just almost underestimated that, but it'll work. I'm going to put some ink just on the inside ring. The two outer rings are going to be loose at this point. So I can get my scissors in there. I'll let this tack for just a second. Take a swig of pop. Gotta love my Diet Coke. Still looking for the Diet Coke people to send that truckload of Coke here. Okay, now I'm going to take my scissors. I'm going to go underneath the top ring. Oops. And I actually got a little too far over. See if I can move this at all. It probably isn't enough to worry about. Kind of undercut that just a little. It's not bad enough to worry about. I'm going to cut around the bottom ring while I leave the top ring where it sits. Probably better job for pair detail scissors than my big blades. I'll just trim up just a little bit. Okay. Now I can glue my rings down. Oops, I guess I better put that one down with some tape first. Okay.
Yarn says Brittany would have a total stroke if they did, Debbie. Where am I supposed to put all this pop?
Yeah, that's true. We'd probably have to take over the rest of Bryce's shed.
Oh.
When we remodeled, I got the craft room. Bryce got a shed. Guess who's got stuff in Bryce's shed? Oh, okay. Okay, got that. I'm going to put my Merry Christmas in next because it will help me position my rings. That gold looks so pretty on that.
Card opening the right way.
Yes. Good question. Always a fair question to ask. Okay. Let's see. Where is my nouveau pen? Always shake your nouveau pen before you apply it too. Okay. Didn't get sticky. I didn't get enough sticky. Get some wet to that. When you have to, you can push down and release more ink onto the nib of these Nouveau. And if it stops sticking on your stuff, sometimes that's what it is. Sometimes ink doesn't want to stick to, or glue doesn't want to stick to ink. And if I find that's the case, I'll have to go back to my little glue bottle. Looks like it's going to be fine now, though. Okay. There we go. 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 Stop it. See? It's actually part of that is that's a freshly inked surface, and the glue doesn't really want to stick to it. I'm going to try it again because I got the Christmas to put down. Back hurting. You should have traded these chairs out. It was silly not to do that. Okay. There we go. So I got my Merry Christmas on. There we go. That's looking good. All right, next up, I'm going to glue my rings down. Where did my rings go? They're there. I'm going to glue my rings down. Let's see what little black spot kind of sticking out here. Okay. And I'm going to position that so that it's right above the C in Christmas. Get some glue on here. And it will dry clear, but I like to avoid having much glue on the face of my project, even dried clear, because I think it looks better if it doesn't have that. Next thing I'm going to do is work over my ornament, and I want you to see how easy this is. I used the red. Hi, Catherine. Welcome. Good to have you here.
She's on holiday in Normandy.
Wow, nice. A lot of you thought that I used 2 layers of mirror board to make this. But nope, just 1 layer and our nice intense marker. Look how well that works. Can you come in closer, honey? There we go. Oops, that's really close, but that's okay. I can get in your range. Look how beautifully that works on that. You do want to look and make sure you get all of the edges clear out to the sides. Okay, and we're going to color this top part. Quick and easy. Sometimes you might decide you want a second coat. If you do, it's really, this dries really fast because it's alcohol, of course. So if you decide you want a second coat, it's quick and easy to do. There we go. There's my red ornament. Now, I did do my ornament cap in red this time. Last time I did it in gold. You can go either way you want. I've got my 3 little rhinestones here. I might put those down after everything's glued in place, actually. Let's get some glue on here. And see, I'm not even getting it on my fingers already because it's already completely dry. Let's see. I think we can tack this just fine. I do see there's a little punch-out piece I missed. I was looking for my tweezers. I lost them again. There they are. Okay. All right. I think this is a job that will work just fine with my regular glue bottle. So just going to put little spots of glue on the wider areas. Not that anything in this kind of filigree leaf, not that anything is very wide there, it's not, but that is cut in lines on here, so avoid getting too much glue over the cut in lines or it can actually seep through to the front. You don't want that. I put this as if it's hanging there. A fingerprint on the mirror board I was taking off. Okay, So got our ornament on. Now it's time to add our foliage. We only have foliage and rhinestones left to go. You guys have any questions about this one when we're gluing these down? No questions? I did notice that I like the contours of the foliage against the ornament better one direction than the other. So just play with that till you get it the way you like it. Okay.
You said you ordered more of the markers?
Yes, I
When they'll
did.
be in?
A week or two. I actually ordered some 12 packs, a couple of 24s, and even one 36, in case you have the need for more colors. And they average, they'll be at regular retail, but they run about $1 a marker with the Bic intensity, and that is really, really a good price. That's really a good price. You usually are looking at $2 or more per marker with alcohol markers. And if you're talking about, the highest end markers, you could be into $7 and $8 a marker. So $1 a marker is a steal. So we'll have more of those in a week to 2 weeks. And like I said, we'll not only have the 12 sets that we had at the party, but now that I've seen that you guys really like those, I got the 24s and even the 36s. I didn't get too many of those because most of us are probably going to choose the 12s. But if you have a need for choices, I keep dropping those, then you might be a 24 or 36 marker person. And why not when they're $1 a pen? This would be really, really pretty with like fir boughs around it, wouldn't it? I used this because this is what I had handy, but it would be very, very pretty with fir also. Okay, I'm going to take some extra little pieces and run this down further. So I'm just going to clip these out a little bit. Yeah, it looks like it was there all along. And I can do the same over here. And then I have a nice piece left for the top. I love die cuts that are easily clipped apart to, make all the pieces go where they fit your design. And they're not all intended to be able to do that, but if you're creative, you can take apart a lot of different dies and do extra duty with them. Okay, just about there now.
Catherine says these colors are very beautiful.
Thank you. Actually, again, I have to credit the people at Memory Box for the original design because I just took their design and played with it. There we go. That's looking good. Put this on top. add a little fuller right on the top. Let's add some dots to our ornament here. Another thing I tried besides rhinestones, and it was pretty too, was putting jewel dazzles on here instead of rhinestones. The jewel dazzles colored to match were really beautiful too. Ultimately, I opted for the dimension of the rhinestones, but you certainly could do this card with jewel dazzles. There we go. There it is, friends. I will do a newsletter, and in my newsletter, I will link all these dies, but maybe we could have Bryce actually link some of them now. Would you do that for me?
Excuse me.
You can link a
Where'd
couple
you
of
put
these
'em?
dies. They're in Britt's Bargain.
I linked the candle.
I know, but we didn't link the, let's link the jeweled ornament. The mistletoe. A lot of you already have the sailboat. If you bought the Hunky Dory box kit 14 week 1, you have the sailboat die already. Excuse me, that I used to make the rings. If you did not get that, the sailboat is a really, really cool die anyway, but there are other ways. Obviously, you can make those circles just with your regular dies. I just found it easy. So here's these two. You can see that the foliage looks a little different on both of them. I got a little fuller foliage in that one I just did. I'm not sure which one I like better. Yeah, there's the mistletoe swag. That's the swag, right? Yeah. And then we want the jeweled ornament as well. Okay, and my ink pad color, or my cardstock colors were cherry and honey. And then I used smoked paprika and roasted coffee ink pads from Hunky Dory. Thank you, Tracy. And Bryce is linking you on that really spectacular jeweled ornament. There's the sailboat die. Okay. And you did the jewel ornament?
I did it first.
Oh, okay. So you have the jewel links to the jewel ornament, the mistletoe, and the sailboat in your links. And were they all in Britt's Bargain? They were, right?
Those three, the only thing I don't see is the Merry Christmas.
Oh, the Merry Christmas was not, but it's actually $6.99. It's card, and let's see, it's CDEC D0003, I believe. This is a really nice Merry Christmas tie-in. I chose this one not only because the script fit the character of the card that I wanted, and the size was perfect for what I wanted, but the price was also $6.99, which I thought was great. There you go. There's all your dice. How are we doing for time, hon?
3:35.
3:35. Let me show you what we have coming up. These are what we did today. Those two. Really, really pretty. Really pretty. Okay, now this is what I did last night. Can we come in close? Initially, we're going to have to pull out, but I want you to come in close to begin with. This is my explosion box using the cherry blossom, which actually features not only the cherry blossoms, but those really, really cute little birds. And the flowers on this box, I'm going to show you how to make on Thursday. Come in even closer because I want you to see the flowers. They really, really do look like cherry blossoms. See the little stamens sticking up out of them? So Thursday, we're going to learn to make that. And then, don't pull it yet. Okay, now you can pull out a little bit. And this is our explosion box from the cherry blossom set. I've pulled a few sneakies on here, and I'll show you on Saturday how I dealt with the distractions of having the backs of pages showing that I didn't particularly like. And I cut all kinds of fun little embellishments out of the pack. So I have, right now, I don't know, I may use the pockets for something else, but right now in the pockets, I've made messages right out of the pack. And because these cherry blossoms, if you don't put the stamen in them, are relatively flat, I've actually decorated the insides of my pages with the cherry blossoms as well. And on the flaps of my cards. So this is coming up. The cherry blossoms themselves, we'll make these blossoms together on Thursday with the stamen, with the multi-stamen sticking out of them. And then, and we'll look at this from a variety of materials. You'd be surprised, right now I'm using them as kind of classic cherry blossoms, but there are a lot of floral designs you can make out of these. She was right there where I could see it. You're funny. Hi, Patrice. Welcome, friend. We haven't seen you in a while. But we'll look at the different ways you can build this flower as well. I have several different flower designs done out of that. So there we go. There is our cherry blossom box. The cherry blossom box will be on Saturday, and I did pull some little sneakies in here that I want to tell you about that I think will be really helpful with the Heartfelt Creations pads to kind of hide some of the busy patterns from the backs of the sheets. And I wanted to share some of that with you. And then we'll construct this box and decorate it with the little flowers that we're making. So that's what we're going to do. Any questions, comments, or pearls of wisdom? Any discussion of anything that we've looked at today? Patrice, it looks like that it would take me all day and all night to create, doesn't it? I think Betty Gosel, who makes tons of these, could tell you the basic box doesn't take long at all. You could take all night decorating it. I know somebody who did. Take all night decorating it, but the basic box doesn't take long at all. And it was great fun. It's always great fun to do these explosion boxes. So maybe by next week, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Never mind. I'm not going to say. I'm not going to say I was going to commit to something and I have enough to do. But anyhow, hi, Glenn. I'm so glad you're loving your explosion board. I love the explosion boards. And we were just taking a look at this one done from the cherry blossom paper pack. I know it's an odd time of year to look at cherry blossoms, but you know what? I buy them when Heartfelt Creations puts them on sale, because when they put them on sale, then I can do things with them and I can put them on sale for you. So we do things sometimes off season, but then you'll be ready. Hi, Kathy girl. Well, that's what I've got for you today, guys. And in the absence of any questions, comments, or pearls of wisdom, I will send you a newsletter that has the links to the dies that we used today. They're also here in your chat notes, so you can pick those up there. In fact, rather than doing a whole newsletter, let me just do this. I'm going to put I'll put the links down in the notes below this box as well for where the dies can be located. And so you can access those dies really easily. So let me put the Brits Bargain. I put that in there knowing that you would love that, Mary R. Rather than doing a newsletter tonight, I think I will just put well, maybe I do need to do a newsletter anyway. I'll put the newsletter and the list of supplies for each of these cards in the newsletter, the links and the supplies. So it might be a while. I'm going to go have a nap first, but I'll get it out for you. And I will see you on Wednesday for What's New Wednesday, 5 p.m. Pacific time, right here. That's 8 p.m. Eastern time, and different times depending on where you are in the country. So look it up for your time zone, but it's at 5 p.m. Pacific time. Thank you, Annette. I appreciate you guys too. And for now, let me say good night, Gracie.